Before we get into the show, let's start with this week's Sarcastic Gamer headlines. Lana, what's going on?
This week we've got well, actually, there's nothing going on in headlines. I mean, if you want to talk about headlines, we could talk about Israel and Gaza. We want to keep this light.
Yeah, I want to stay away from that too, because there's no way to talk about that without getting in trouble.
Instead, we're going to talk about all the dumbasses that gave money to a guy who was making potato salad on Kickstarter, who ended up wrangling $55,000 in his pursuit to make potato salad.
Now, let's be very clear. He wasn't trying to make a brand of potato salad. He wasn't trying to, he wasn't offering to make potato salad for everyone or anything like that. The dude just put up a Kickstarter trying to raise $10 so that he can make potato salad for himself to eat. And he ended up raising $55,000. That's unbelievable. Damn it, I wish I thought of that.
And people are asking dumb questions like, what's he going to do with all that money? He's making potato salad. That's what he's doing with the money. You gave him money for a Kickstarter for potato salad. That's what he's doing.
I don't care if he goes and buys himself a Mercedes-Benz. That's his money. You gave it to him.
You know, screw Israel, Gaza. You gave money to people who want to make potato salad. All 6,100 people that gave money to this guy, you are awful, awful people. It's not funny in an ironic way. It's not funny in a trolling way. You people are awful people.
I think it's funny, and they gave money, and they're getting things for it too. So basically, what he did was he's given out recipe books and all this potato salad related merchandise, a T-shirt that you got. Yeah. How much you donated. So if you look at how much this guy, I don't know if you realize this, how much it's going to cost him to create all those shirts and ship them to people, to write a recipe book that isn't plagiarized about potato salad. Now he has to do that.
Well, apparently he's going to start a music festival with the money, and he's going to pay taxes on it too. So yeah, fantastic. I don't blame the guy at all. What the guy did was great, funny, great. All 6,154 some odd people that gave him money, you people are the assholes of the story.
He should have his music festival in Idaho. That would be perfect. He could be sponsored by Lay's. It would be awesome. Oh man, yeah.
Hellman's mayonnaise. There you go.
It just goes to show you, though, if you have an idea that's just a little off, a little quirky, and you can get just a little bit attention for it, big things can happen for it. So, I mean, he's not a genius. He's just he's like the best slacker ever.
I wish he worked for our Kickstarter.
Well, we need to figure something out. We need to make. What do you make? Do you make a dish? Is there something you make that's very good?
I make people miserable? I don't know. I do lots of things.
You don't have a recipe for a dish that you create, like something in your family's recipe book?
A recipe for misery? I do have a recipe for that.
All right, what else is going on in the news?
The My Little Pony or Brony convention was in Baltimore this past weekend.
My son wanted to be there. Before you make your funny joke, my son wanted to be there. He has watched the entire My Little Pony season, I think there's like 3 or 4 seasons. He's watched every episode, all of them. He loves My Little Pony, and I've watched a few with him. It's a pretty good show, as cartoons go.
Let's just make this a no judgment zone and move on to number 3.
Come on! Fine, let's move on. If you don't have anything nice to say, if you don't want to cut up family's recipe for misery right now, then let's just go on.
You bring the kids in, I can't pull the trigger there, Doc. You know, I'm fine tearing you a new one about the Brony convention, but I'm going to leave little Doc out of this.
All right. I wonder if anybody in our audience is a My Little Pony fan. I'd be interested to hear from you on the website sarcasticgamer.com. Lana, what else is in the news?
Would it be interesting to hear from them?
I would be interested. I'd be interested to see what got people into that, because it's not your typical thing. I mean, these are the folks that watch our show are the folks that ran out and saw Guardians of the Galaxy, by and large. They are the folks who buy the latest new tech gadgets, whatever. They're largely sci-fi or fantasy type folks, and yet this is a cartoon that was made for little girls that is a huge male following.
Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, we're going to get into that because we both saw it, and I'm excited to talk about it. Okay, so number 3. Excuse me. That was brought to you by Stella.
Say the last word. I want to hear you say it.
Artois.
Okay, go ahead.
And finally,
Finally.
still doing that, huh?
Yeah.
Still doing it. EA Access was unveiled this week for the Xbox One, where gamers get access to a very limited selection of EA games for the low price of $5 per month or $30 per year. I'm kind of on the fence on this. I'm kind of with Sony that I don't think there's value added, but I think Sony had some underlying reasons why they did not want EA Access on their gaming system. What are your thoughts?
Well, I originally thought of it as, like when I first saw it, I thought to myself, well, it's not actually $5 a month, it's $10 a month, because you have to pay for your Xbox Live, which is $5 or $6 a month, depending on how much of a subscription. So for access to the content, it costs you $10 a month. But I looked at the titles, expecting to see some crap, and that first rollout, I mean, at least it's some. If you're into sports games, you'd love it. I think you'd love it. Battlefield 4 is on there. That's a decent one.
I own that game.
Yeah, but I mean 10 months. Like you'd have to play the game for 10 months or 12 months actually in order to justify paying for the actual game. Here's what they're doing. They're getting around GameStop. If I was GameStop, I'd be pissed. They're going to test this out and they're going to basically get $5 a month from people, which means after 6 months they're going to get $30, which is more than what the publisher gets for the game in the first place when GameStop sells it. That's my thoughts.
You do get a discount. You get a 25% discount on new games, and apparently you purchase them through EA Access. I'm assuming you're going to be downloading them, so it's a way to tie customers in. See, we talked about HBO a couple weeks ago, and the business model of HBO is they don't care how you view their show as long as someday you become a paid subscriber, because once they lock you in, you're locked in for a set fee. You're a known cost. They know exactly how much money they're going to generate from you, and they can plan accordingly. EA, the current model is, we're going to make this for you, and we have projections of what we're going to think that you're going to make, but we don't know. Whereas EA Access is, we have X number of people, that generates X number of dollars. We can do this, this, and this. Cost certainty is very important for large corporations because it gives stability, not only to them, but to their stockholders. It's a good move by EA, but my issue with it is, number one, the games rolling out on it are all at least 8 months old. Okay? So if you own any of these games, not really a good deal for you, number one. Number two, my experience, and I've got a story to go with this, is people that play Madden, they play Madden. And that's the only EA sports game they buy. That might be the only game they buy every year. Okay,
that's
people
true.
That play,
I know a lot of people that are my age, that's all they play is Madden or FIFA.
Or FIFA. There are no Madden and FIFA fanatics. Okay, there are no Madden and FIFA and Battlefield fanatics that go out and buy all three games every year. And if there is, it's such a small portion of the percentage of total buyers that you're insignificant to what EA is trying to do. Okay, so we're agreed on that, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so if you're just going to play FIFA every year, is it worth it to pay the $30 per year? Now, this assumes that you get FIFA day one. I think the answer is probably yes.
Yes.
Probably yes.
Yes.
So if you're going to do that and you already have Xbox Live, then this is probably a good deal for you. The problem with Sony is that you can use EA Access without using PlayStation Plus. Okay, so this sort of subsumes what Sony is doing on the PS4, which is why they did not want it on their system.
But Xbox has a version of PS Plus as well. I mean, you get Xbox games for free on there from other publishers. I mean, how would that not be affecting Xbox as well? Help me understand that.
Because you have to have Xbox Live to play any of these games, or to download games, or to do almost anything with Xbox One. To play Madden online, you have to have Xbox. You have to have Xbox Live.
Okay? I see what you're saying. Okay.
PS Plus, for some of these games, you do have to have it, but you don't need it necessarily, and you would not need it with EA Access if it was on Sony's PS4.
So what you're saying, so basically this could be Sony's PlayStation Plus model and their soft touch that they've given gamers in terms of not, making you have to have PlayStation Plus to do anything like Xbox causes you. This is biting them in the ass now because they could have been a part of this, but now they can't because it'll subvert their own product.
I think, and to be perfectly honest, I think right now I don't really know what you're getting with EA Access. I think the concept sounds fine. But I want to see what they roll out and what games they're putting out before I decide to put my money down because, it's maybe I plop down $30 to check it out, but I don't play any of those games. And if I'm paying $30 a month, does that mean I get all access to all Battlefield DLC that when Battlefield comes out? Is that what I'm getting, or do I pay extra for that? And not only that, the next Battlefield is not coming out until March or January of next year. So am I plopping down my $30 for EA Access for right now to wait to play Battlefield? So I don't know.
So the launch library is that interesting point you make. And the launch library is probably not worth $5 a month to too many people outside of your hardcore Madden fanatics who, for some reason, don't have Madden yet.
Right. Which undermines the entire EA Access thing, because EA Access assumes that there's this large glut of gamers out there who love their games but just can't afford to buy all of them. When maybe the market research shows that, but my experience is that there are Madden people and they buy Madden. There are FIFA people and they buy FIFA. There are Battlefield people and they buy Battlefield.
And they're sure as hell not going to wait.
Right.
Till it rotates in there. Now, I'd be interested to know if the library that they're going to have is a cumulative or rotating library. If it's cumulative, give me a year, I might even consider doing this.
Sure.
But if it's a rotating library where it's here's this quarter's or this month's free games rotating in, and Battlefield 4 is gone now, I would have an issue with that. I can't imagine that they would go that route. Again, though, I want to come back to, I think this is them. They're literally eating out of GameStop's bowl here, because what they're doing is they're going to be undermining used game sales. The games that GameStop sells, those games are the same ones that they're putting on their freaking service. And instead of paying $10 for GameStop, you can go to EA Access and play Battlefield 4 if you're a late comer.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do want to know more about this. I'd like to see how this works in terms of all that, because if I was an Xbox One user, I might check it out to see what's going on with it. But at the same time, it's like I'm also outside of their core, gamership. I don't own any of those games, but I have a curiosity about them.
Right.
And that I don't want to pay $120 for to buy FIFA and Madden, but I might pay $30 to play them both. So I think it remains to be seen. I think it's interesting. I think that we need to learn more about it and see how it affects the gamers and see what games we're getting.
Well, it brings up another topic, though, and I wanted to just kind of segue to here, and that is that online subscriptions are getting out of hand. I read an article today and brought it up. Jefferson Graham in USA Today wrote an article today. He was talking about how he one morning he just decided to audit himself to see how much he was spending on monthly subscriptions on crap online. And between his Netflix and his Vimeo Plus and his all these little things that he was doing, he was spending $7,000 a year, he realized, on these subscription services. And most of them he had forgotten all about, that he was even a part of those, that he was still paying for them. He had like a guitar service that he was still paying for. And it gave me pause for thought. I was thinking, I need to do this too, because I've got a lot of I've been paying PlayStation Plus for 2 years now. Today was the first time I turned my PlayStation on to play it in forever. So I mean, these subscription models, I think there's even more to it. If you can just get people to subscribe, I think there's a bunch of them that will just keep on subscribing forever and ever and ever and ever. And
one of the other values of the subscription model.
Yeah, I mean, you get that recurring income. And sometimes $5 a month is probably a sweet spot to where people are like, I'm not going to buy. I need to unsubscribe to that, but I'll do it later.
Right.
And so then it comes around again. I keep getting pinged for a credit report service that I paid for forever ago. It's like, I think these subscription services are starting to be so numerous. It's kind of scary to me a little bit. I need to go back and audit myself a little bit.
These things will start to merge and conglomerate, like everything does. When you have a fractured market. But One of the things that I was thinking about when we were talking about the EA Access, just to kind of close this out, is I was talking to a friend who had recently bought an Xbox One, and I said, "Oh, okay, great. What did you get?" He's like, "Oh, I went out and got Call of Duty." And I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, well, all right. Well, what else did you get? Did you get Titanfall? What's that?"
Yeah.
You don't know what Titanfall is. Titanfall is made by the same guys that made Call of Duty. They went out and, formed a new game company called Respawn, and now they're making a game called Titanfall. The guy looked at me like I was from fucking Mars, And it just goes to show, like, the vast majority of people who buy an Xbox, buy a PS4, and they just buy Call of Duty, and they just play Call of Duty, or they just play Madden, or they just play FIFA, and it's like
they pay $600 to play football.
Yeah, I have another lawyer friend who's buying a next gen console just to play Call of Duty when it comes out in November, and it's like, dude, just buy it for your Xbox 360 that you already own.
Yeah,
it's going to be a very similar experience, But it goes to show too that this market, the people that listen to our podcast and read the websites and go on to Twitter to discuss these things, how small of an actual percentage they are in terms of total gamer population when it comes to just being a knowledgeable gamer in terms of the industry, games, and everything.
That has to be the case. You have to be right, because otherwise they wouldn't be making moves like this. They wouldn't be starting a subscription service for $5 a month to play older games. Yeah. It makes me wonder how they're going to market to those folks, how they're going to reach them with that. I bet you with their Call of Duty or with their FIFA 2015, when they buy that game, it's going to come with a card for a free month where you have to put your credit card in or whatever. And so they're going to get people to unwittingly subscribe to it.
Absolutely. I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen. That's a good point.
Well, it is the 19th episode of the Sarcastic Gamer podcast. That was probably our longest news segment ever, but we appreciate you guys being with us today and listening to the show or watching it on YouTube. Remember, we do actually stream the show live on Sunday nights, usually around 9 o'clock. Lano is in Chicago. How are you, man?
I'm great. I actually started unpacking today. I tweeted out a photo of our very first T-shirt that Doc conceived, one of the two, and it was the old Sarcastic Gamer logo.
I have it right here. Let me find it. Yeah, when you said that, I literally stopped for a second, and there was soft music played, and I just where is it? It's right here. Here it is. Yeah, we wore these to QuakeCon, was it?
Yeah, QuakeCon 2007.
There you go. Can you see it?
A little closer. A little closer. There you go. Sarcasm greater than truth. I love that. The other one that we had, which was in conjunction with the Microsoft Surface table, was it said "big ass table" underneath.
That was us making a shirt about a very inside joke. It was only our few people friends do it. But
the non sequitur was just really funny. And I remember I met Dave, you, me, at Dallas for the first time. That's the first time we ever met in person. And we got these T-shirts, and I got the sarcasm greater than truth, and Dave got the sarcasm greater than truth, and you got the big ass table. And I was like, motherfucker, he gets the good big ass table T-shirt, and I get the same one as David. We got to walk around looking like twinsies all day.
I made that shirt. That shirt that you unpacked, I made it in my house. I ironed that on for you. It was
nice.
Doc made, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got a bunch of gamers to sign it at one of our QuakeCon parties that we have for PAX Life, which actually for Throwback Thursday I posted in our Facebook feed, so you guys can go check out that video. After Doc goes on to YouTube and allows the video to be seen by mobile devices so that people can check that out on their phone.
Thanks for being passive aggressive. You should just tell me. I didn't know that was a problem.
I just thought of it. It is a problem though. You gotta go fix that right now.
Okay.
So we both saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
This is a comic book that I've been reading since 2008 by a very well-respected team of writers that I just loved. It was a cult favorite in Marvel land, and when they announced it, I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then it got relaunched by Marvel, headed up by Brian Michael Bendis, who's like the guy that writes everything for Marvel, and now the comic book kind of sucks because he sucks, and But I was really excited to hear that the movie was based on the older stuff from 2008, not the newer stuff from Brian Michael Bendis. That's my little spiel. That's my little dig.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because I
no problem. We get it. You're a big fan. You know more about it than any of us. That's fine.
That's actually pretty true.
Come on now.
Hold on a second. This is the Milano.
That's right. It was
Lego Milano.
Who names their ship after a cookie?
Oh, just the funny, obscure people. So, I'm dying to hear. I took my two little girls to go see it. They're 6 and 9.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, so I think 9 years old is probably 8 or 9 is probably like the right age where you can do that parental guidance as suggested stuff. So, they have the black like jokes and some of the stuff I guess that went over their heads, but I'd hate to have to explain that. But I enjoyed that movie from the very first second of it until the end of the credits with Howard the Duck. Like I enjoyed every.
Wow, you're spoiling. You're just spoiling things now. Spoiler alert.
Oh, whatever. It's a afterthought. It's after the credits.
And spoiler alert.
But I love that movie so much. I thought my expectations were kind of low because that lead guy, what's his name?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I've only known him really as the dopey character from Parks and Rec.
He was the soldier in Zero Dark 30. He was one of the soldiers.
I never saw that movie,
so that's
I haven't seen it in a serious role. But I loved that sprinkling of that Parks and Rec character that he brought to it. And his just comedic style. I think one of the reasons I love this movie so much is because my expectations were so low going into it. I didn't really know any of the actors very well. I hadn't seen much of their work. And so you go in there and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. Characters were memorable and fun. The makeup was fantastic. Special effects were awesome. I love the fight scenes. They're great.
Yeah. Standout moment in the movie for you?
Standout moment for me. Let me think about that first. Oh, actually, you know what? It's that one big bulky guy. What's his name? The one with the tattoos or the
Drax the Destroyer.
Drax the Destroyer. So when they're at the bar and they're drinking, he goes, "Let's put more of this liquid in our bodies." I don't know why, but that was just, I laughed so hard. I was crying. I was like, it was just so his character. It was like everything was written perfectly for those characters. They just kept him right in character, and that guy played that character. I think because I hadn't read the comic books perfectly. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a bone to pick, I would say that the characterization of Drax is completely different than the comic books. But he's such a great character in the movie that he really, that character shines in the movie.
How could someone with so few lines, be like run away with the show like that? It was so great.
Yeah, Groot I thought stole the whole show. I mean,
yeah, Groot was good too.
Yeah, the dancing Groot at the end was just hysterical.
Yeah,
and it's like in Rocket, great. I mean, the whole thing was really good. You get the Nowhere, which is their base in the comic book, and you even saw Cosmo the dog. And
well, they made. I mean, speaking of Rocket, like I was thinking this is going to be silly and stupid because there's a talking raccoon in it, but somehow the way that they created this and the way you meet him and the way everything goes down, it's just there he is. He's just like a character. It didn't take me out of reality. It was great.
Yeah, he's just like a hateful little spiteful. Yeah.
Yeah. So totally recommend if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet. I mean, I saw it on Friday. I felt like I was the last one of my friends to see it. Everybody on Facebook was talking about it. But if you haven't gone out to see it or you're waiting, go see this movie on the big screen. Go see it. You're going to love it. It's so much fun. It's a great movie. And like he said, he took his kids. I'm going to go back and see it again. I'm going to take mine as well now that I've had a chance to take a look at it. There are a few things, there's some language, but they did a pretty good job of keeping it kid.
Yeah. There's 2 swear words. There's some off-color jokes that I don't think my kids understood. And then there are some intense scenes in there, especially the scene with the collectors where the girl grabs the gem for the first time. And she kind of just disintegrates and then blows up. But there's some really good stuff in this movie, and it's a world-building movie for the greater Marvel universe because they talk about what the Infinity Stones are, and for people that may just kind of watch the Marvel movies with as a popcorn movie or whatever. the Marvel movies were all building to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very much within the course and scope of the Marvel universe because, number one, in the Avengers movie, one of the Infinity Stones is the stone that or part of the stone that they use, that Loki uses in the staff. Okay? In Thor: The Dark World, the red Infinity Stone is in that movie. And so on and so forth. You have the Cosmic Cube, which apparently is the Tesseract, which is part of what was used in Avengers. So it's been building, and you see at the end in the scene, in the end credit scene for Thor: The Dark World, you meet the Collector for the first time, and he gets a hold of the red stone. He comments that he's only got 4 other ones, or whatever it is that he's looking for, or 5 other ones that he's looking for. And so in Guardians of the Galaxy, you see that he's got a bounty on this stone that he's trying to get a hold of, and it ties into the greater whole, even if it's tangentially. And for the first time in any of the Marvel movies, the Collector, to the audience, in kind of a throwaway scene before the thing blows up, he explains to everybody what the greater story is in the Marvel universe over the past 9 years of movies, is these primordial Infinity Stones,
right,
and the greater significance of these things, and why people fighting over them, and why they're granting powers, and and whatever. And so I thought that was a big moment. That was a very small moment in the movie, and I just thought that was really important. And you meet Thanos, who is the big bad of the overarching movies, going back to the Avengers and all that stuff. And it's just for Marvel minutia nerddom, there was just a lot of really cool stuff in that,
and they managed to
like
do it in a way. So I don't know any of that stuff,
yeah.
And it didn't distract me, and I was still into the story, and I got what I needed to get out of it. I think that's a well done movie, in my opinion. If it can keep a diehard fan like you, engaged and not going, wait, that doesn't make any sense, and at the same time not go over my head to where I don't feel like I'm getting the story. I did read somewhere that that the Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers are going to meet, or they're going to come together in the next movie.
Well, I don't think it would be in Avengers 2, because that's the Ultron story, but probably more likely in the Avengers Part 3 after Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. That's my guess.
Well, I have no idea what you just said, so.
So the next movie, the next Avengers movie is called Age of Ultron, or Age of Extinction, or whatever they're calling it. Age of Ultron, and Ultron, from the Avengers storyline, is a robot made by an Avenger who ends up turning out to be a bad guy, and he becomes one of the baddest bad guys of the Avengers universe. He's this indestructible robot that wants to wipe out humanity and replace them with robot synthoid people, so that humanity can come under an order and stop killing each other, because he thinks it's the only way to save the planet is to exterminate the human race. He views them as a cancer, and blah, blah, blah. Going back, 30 years of Avenger stories, and then Part 3, I imagine, we'll get back to the Infinity stuff.
Well, so yeah, go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Lana, you've been playing a game again for the first time, in a way. You want to talk about that?
Game again for the first time. For the first time. I don't know.
I'm making that into a meme, a GIF.
A Jiffy meme. Yeah. We were graced with the Last of Us Remastered for PS4, which, as you know, we podcasted and gushed over repeatedly. My review is that it's great. It's identical almost in every way to the PS3 version.
Can you see a difference in the graphics?
Not really. It runs at 60 frames per second, so maybe it's slightly smoother, but to be honest, I don't remember there being a significant difference. The gunplay might be a little smoother, but I don't think there's a damn thing that's different.
Scenes? Are there new scenes or something?
It comes with the DLC, and okay. You get some of the maps, and I only paid $49 for it, and I traded some stuff in, so I actually got $2 back from GameStop. So that was cool. But what I want to talk about today, and I haven't played the DLC for The Last of Us, and I want to play it, and we'll discuss that. But the multiplayer for The Last of Us has really caught my attention, and it's really, 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 really fun. It's methodical, slow-paced, Um, kind of like what Gears of War would be without rolling shotguns, which is how I had it described to me last night.
Is there
And
is there the same ammo scarcity that there is in the single player game where you have to be careful? You
absolutely,
can't just run a gun.
absolutely. And so there's like 8 different preset classes, and you can also custom make your own like 6 different classes as you level up. These classes all have different perks that give you that let you scavenge bullets, or let you craft things faster, or heal people faster, or res people faster, or less, or a greater aim with your pistol, or less sway with a scoped weapon. And there's all these different weapons, from a bow and arrow to a pistol to an automatic rifle to a military rifle to a grenade launcher.
What
But
are the
there's
game modes? What are we trying to do here? Are we capturing a flag, or are we just trying to survive? Is it deathmatch, or what are we doing?
It's all that stuff, but what makes the game so unique is these classes and what you do with these classes. So when the game starts, you can make all the stuff that you could make in the game: bombs and Molotovs and gas grenades and shivs and weapons and stuff. And it's got all of that kind of frenetic, beat 'em up fighting to it too. So, different classes are able to do more with the things that you find on the map. So throughout the maps are crates that you can get parts from, and you use these parts to make things. Okay, and you use these things to help you in the game, because it takes a lot of bullets to kill somebody, and you can use these other weapons and the shiv and the modified bat and all that stuff to help increase your lethality. So there's 3 different game modes right now. There's one which is straight up deathmatch. You have 20 lives between you and your 3 other teammates, and once those 20 lives are gone, the game's over. There's another one that is basically there's 4v. I think it's 4v4, but it might go 6v6. I'm not sure. And once you're dead, you're done for the round, kind of like Counter-Strike. And then the last mode is called for Interrogation. And this is a mode where once you down somebody, you have to execute them in order to interrogate them to find out where their base is. So after 5 of these interrogations, okay, you learn where the base is. You can go to the base, unlock the safe, okay, and once you unlock the safe, you get their goodies and you win. So that's a far more complex game mode than the other 2.
How long does that last? How long does it take to get to that point?
To get through one of those games?
Yeah, that sounds like a long game mode.
Well, it's a lot of attack and defend. Initially, the game is in 2 stages. So the first stage is deathmatch. You're trying to go out and but if you're downing people, the name of the game in this multiplayer is that you have to stick together with your buddies. Otherwise, you are simply just not going to win. And there's a lot of nuance to the game. There is a ton of nuance. So, for instance, running makes you appear on the minimap, while crouching and walking, you don't show up.
Oh.
But you can still use that like I don't know what they call it, that sixth sense that's in the game to see things.
Right,
you can
right.
still use that, and if you remain perfectly still, you don't show up. So it's a lot of hide and seek.
Wow, that sounds like kind of fun.
It's really fun, and the interrogation mode is fun to a point, but the games do kind of last long because you can't really steamroll the other team. Because once you get your 5 interrogations and you find out where the other base is, you think you're just hell-bent, you're just going to steamroll a team, you're going to win. But the thing is, a team can hunker down at their base, wait for you to come in, and as guys are trying to attack the base, you pick them off one at a time and get your interrogations that way. And then suddenly both bases are open.
So I'm imagining the interrogation takes a little bit of time. So if one of your guys goes down, can you go in and finish him so that they can't interrogate him? Or
no, you can't finish them, and you want to res that guy. You want to get that guy up or let that guy bleed out.
Okay, gotcha. So keep them back away from him until he bleeds out and he's gone, and then they can't interrogate.
Yeah.
Does he respawn? I'm imagining you must get to respawn.
Infinite respawns. That game, but the name of the game is all about coordinating tactics. If you're a lone wolf, your team is going to always lose. You will always lose. There is no skill level in this game that's going to overcome a numbers advantage. My only issues with it so far is that the matchmaking is not good at all. We had a heck of a time just getting into the deathmatch games. Last night we were only successful on 2 occasions. Other times we just simply wait, and then we just finally gave up and went to a different game mode. When we were matched up, we're all 0, 1, and 4 level. We were matched up with people that are like level 17, like level 25. And I played the game for like 4 hours last night. I only got to level 1. So it's like, how the hell are these people level 17 when this game's been out for 4 days? I don't understand that.
Well, they didn't go to work.
Yeah, they don't work. Yeah, obviously.
Well, so The Last of Us Remastered. If you have, I have it from my PlayStation 3. Is that game mode? Is that stuff available for my copy, or is it only for the remastered PS4 side?
No. The multiplayer is on PS3. It always has been.
Okay.
The good news for PS3 owners, so you're going to get a PS4. GameStop is actually trading in The Last of Us for PS3, and you're getting a very hefty buyback towards your PS4 purchase.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and for a game that was one of my all-time favorite games, the multiplayer is just, it's something on top that is unexpected and absolutely welcome. I can't recommend this enough. It's even if you own the PS3 version, my plea to you would be to spend that money again, because good games deserve to be paid for and recognized. To make sure that this company that makes good games continues making good games. And obviously Naughty Dog's not going anywhere, but you want to reward companies that do good things for gamers.
Gotcha. So. Totally with you on that. I'm interested to see what the sequel to Last of Us is, because obviously The Last of Us sounds kind of like the end of something. The second The Last of Us, I don't know. We'll see.
The Last of Us, look at the Sharknado route and go The Last of Us, the second one.
Yeah, or you just be like, wait, there was one more.
The sequel will just be just one more. That kind of boxes them in for the sequel too, though.
Yeah, it does. All right, so I haven't been playing anything new or groundbreaking. I did pick up Diablo 3 about a year ago, and it sat on my PlayStation as a digital download. It was one of those things that was on sale, so I got it and never played it. And this weekend I was going to play The Last of Us, and my kids actually have my whole game wallet in Birmingham with their mom, and so I basically turned my volume way up, pulled the couch way too close to the TV, and I've been playing Diablo 3. Love it. It's so much fun. I'm going to go spend $40 on the expansion as soon as I finish the Diablo 3. I'm up to Act 2 or 3, almost to Act 3 right now.
So how does that play with a game controller?
It plays perfectly. I'm having no problem whatsoever. The way that they unlock those abilities for you, it helps you. You start off with just like 3 buttons, and then after like an hour and a half, they give you a 4th button, and they let you assign a power to it. So it's not like you just all of a sudden have all these powers and stuff that you can do. Maybe it's the same way on the PC, but by the time now I've only got one more button to unlock, and I'm badass. I'm slide in, suck people in, blast them out, do all that stuff. I'm playing as a monk.
So you're just hitting the buttons clicking the buttons over and over.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But you have to use them in combination because you run out of your spirit pretty quickly. Just mashing buttons. So.
I gave up on Diablo 3 because of what I thought was a lack of loot and or fun in the game, and I know that they patched the crap out of it, and things are a lot different. It's coming out now on PS4, and the DLC's bundled in. I think the whole total package is like $50. I think I'm gonna buy it for PS4.
I like the game. The loot to me, I guess I'm probably too much of a rookie to know that I'm not getting enough good loot or whatever, because I don't play a lot of these games. What was that one we played, Two Human or something like that? Where I started to learn a little bit about looting and that sort of thing. I like what they've done where you can junk stuff so that when you go to the merchant you can just sell all the junk at once. That's nice.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why I get a pair of boots that have a 35 armor rating, and then I find another one with a pair of 65 armor rating, and why it's all red arrows, why this isn't better than this. I don't get that. So I don't completely understand all of that. But again, they have the green and red arrows, so I haven't made any major mistakes yet. And I just unlocked the part where you can actually start adding crystals and stuff, which is like blowing my mind because I just sit there for like 10 minutes staring at the screen trying to decide if I'm making a bad decision.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's fun. I love it.
That's part of the fun of the loot whoring games. I also played, speaking of games that are incredibly difficult, like The Last of Us, which I'm actually playing again now on Survivor level. Not the totally highest one, but Survivor. Been playing a game called Rogue Legacy that's out on PS4, and it's part of their they're selling a bundle, and every game that you buy, you get money back. So I bought 3 of them, and I get $8 back.
Huh.
So and if you're on PS Plus, I think all 3 games were like $30, and they're very highly touted games coming up, and we'll talk about those when they come out. But the first one that's out, there's a new one coming out next week called Swapper that I did not buy, but the other 2 that are coming out in the next couple of weeks look really fun. So Rogue Legacy is interesting. It's basically like a Ghost and Goblins meets 2D Dark Souls, like kind of a dungeon crawler where you pick your character. You can use gold to increase different stats, and you go into the dungeon. And the dungeon's randomly generated every time you go into it. Okay.
Huh, I like that.
You can lock the pattern of the dungeon down, but you pay a price. You lose 40% of whatever gold you get. But you can do that if you find things that you're not necessarily able to get to because of your certain skill class or don't have certain things unlocked yet. So you're going to go in. It's incredibly difficult. You'll die, okay, constantly. Once you die, you have 3 dudes to pick from. They're your offspring, okay? They'll have different traits. And normally you think the traits are just like mundane things like strength, speed, stamina. And they mix it up a lot in Rogue Legacy, and part of the charm is your dude will be overly tall, or he'll be overly small. But these also have benefits, negative and positive. Or your guy will be upside down, and you'll play it upside down the whole time. Or
What?
yeah, or your guy will have dementia, and you'll have guys attacking you, and you'll hit them, and you'll realize it's just a ghost. Or your guy will your guy will be incredibly old and yearns for the olden days, so everything will be in sepia tones. You know, or one guy's colorblind and it's black and white. Yeah,
is this a full price game, or how much is this thing?
I think I paid $15 for it on PS Plus.
I saw it today on PlayStation 3 for the PS3. Maybe I'll give it a try.
Oh, so fun, so fun. It's a time suck. It's an absolutely, I got to get one more turn out of it kind of games,
Right.
because you'll go onto the dungeon and you'll die like a stupid death, and you're just like, you just get back in there, and and then as you unlock your skill tree, you can unlock different classes, it's like there's like funny little in-jokes, like the Barbarian class does a Skyrim-style dragon shout. It's called, and it's called like Foos Do Ra or something like that when he does it, or if one of your guys has Tourette's, he'll swear every time he gets hit, or if he's got irritable bowel syndrome, he'll make farting noises like whenever he jumps, like it's wacky. But fun at the same time. You unlock all of these different skills that stack, that alter how you play. Like when you first start the game off, you're just a guy swinging a sword and hoping to survive. Now I've got this elaborate barbarian that wears vampire clothes so that I can gain health back from every time I kill an enemy, and I've got like these different, magical stats, and I can do a double jump now, and I can do a fast slide so that I can do a double jump and then a slide, which helps me get over a lot of obstacles, and it makes more of the dungeons accessible. And it's like you keep playing and playing and playing, and you just gather new things, and it's like just one more run, one more run, one more run, and it's really a good game.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, that sounds cool. I think I'll try to grab that. We're about out of time here. I want to remind everyone that there are some really special people out there that help us continue to make this show for you. There are Sarcastic supporters. Those guys pay a subscription, ironically, but it's a cancel anytime you want and pay whatever you want type of thing. It's you decide. So $1 a month, pay $1 a month, become a subscriber. You don't get anything more. You don't get anything less. We'll still make the show for free for every one of these are folks that say the show has some value, they enjoy checking in with us each week, and they want to own a piece of it. And sometimes they become our guests on the show, and sometimes we get to do a few extra things with those guys. But Sarcastic supporter is easy to become one. Just go to sarcasticgamer.com, click on the Sarcastic supporter button, choose how much you want to be a supporter at, and we will love you forever. Lano, last word of the week. You got it. What are you going to be playing this week?
I'm going to be playing a lot more of The Last of Us multiplayer, and I'm not sure what else is coming out this week. It's going to be kind of a dead period until Diablo comes out, and then, of course, Destiny comes out after that. My last word of the day is I saw some of the high-level stuff happening in Destiny, and I'm more disappointment. I'm just finding that the guns look almost very similar to the guns you start off at level 1, and your dude looks very similar to what you start off at level 1. It's like, as somebody who's played MMOs and enjoyed them and enjoyed the diversity of things that you get when you get higher level, which is one of the reasons why you want to play those higher levels, I was extremely disappointed in what I saw, and I know people like the game and blah, blah, blah. I'm already somebody that pre-purchased the digital copy. I'm stuck. I'll be playing it with you, but I'm just going to say that more and more I see, the more and more disappointed I get with the game.
Well, let's cross our fingers. Nobody wants to, including you, nobody wants a game to be disappointing. So,
no. And I had the last word, so shut your mouth.
Okay. Good night, everybody.